That's what alerted them to what was going on.
Okay, well then we can say we sort of helped it along, right? Because
Hmm
I
we
take
all.
it you mean when Larry Pinkney that we've just heard from, when he
Hmm
appeared on the Abby Martin show,
hmm
correct? And of
Yes.
course, it's also been on Lee Camp on
hmm
RT,
Yeah, my friend
and
Lee.
it's been on, thanks in large part to you, it's been on Truth Out. It's been, it's the Black Agenda Report has done yeoman service and so forth.
Hmm
So this is,
And
again,
then
it's going to be a cause célèbre. It's going to
it
be a
is.
huge international scandal. And there was a lot of interest, say, at the Russian embassy among people from a number of countries, including the Arab world, let me say. And we'll have
Talk to
more
you next
about that.
week, Webster.
Okay, see you next week. Welcome back to World Crisis Radio, our final segment. So let me appeal to everybody to redouble your efforts on behalf of Reverend Pinkney. And one way you can do this is to visit that website, the one closest to Reverend Pinkney. It is bhbanco.org, as in Benton Harbor, BANCO. It stands for Black Autonomy Network Community Organization, working for economic and social justice in Southwest Michigan. And there's a PayPal there. You see the web page, bhbanco.org. You'll see on lower right hand side of the screen, donate with PayPal, make a contribution. Remember, we did get this interesting analysis from an experienced defense attorney who said the case that Sepik and Schrock and company have perpetrated on the public is so weak, so riddled with selective and vindictive, you name it, right? Not it's somehow he thinks he can make a misdemeanor into a felony. That's like saying, parking ticket, 20 years in jail. It's ridiculous. This is not the rule of law. This is the logic of the company town, of the Whirlpool company town, and the Upton clan, right? The Fred Upton operation. They're the family oligarchs who own Whirlpool. So the only hope to impose that is for the opposition to cease, for us to dry up and blow away. We will not do it. We will not allow it. We will continue to fight this. So bhbanco.org, and please go to the PayPal there, and that goes right to Reverend Pinkney. Accept no substitutes. Unfortunately, when events like this occur, I don't know if it's some case that guy has media interest, somebody like Al Sharpton or others show up and they use it for self-promotion. Watch out in the sense that there's a group of people who are trying to use the Pinckney case for their own self-promotion, for a relatively obscure and mediocre magazine publication about the conditions of austerity in the world. It's not worth reading, and these people, nevertheless, are trying to get people who come forward interested in helping Pinckney to essentially hijack them and turn them into workers for this austerity survey or whatever it is. And it's just this does not help Pinckney. It actually detracts from his support. Now, concerning Syria, a couple of interesting things here. A lot of attention for ISIS this week. Let's remember, if it were possible to get these European and US and Japanese aid workers out of that area, the only way, by and large, that people have fallen into the hands of ISIS and then being executed or beheaded, the only way that has happened is if those people either willingly put themselves under the control of the Syrian terrorist rebels, or if they put themselves so close that they could no longer be defended. Now, there's a group of French members of parliament, members of the French National Assembly and the French Senate, who went to Damascus and had talks with President Assad. I'd like to see some Americans with that much guts, and I don't think we have them. I think we've got a bunch of parliamentary cretins, quite frankly, when it comes to this issue. They're too afraid to go over there and explore with Assad what the way out of this is. And here's the secret. The way out of it is to work with existing governments. Yes, and that means Assad. You got it. And all of those careers of the humanitarian bombers, the people like Ken Roth, I think it is, of Human Rights Watch, and the Amnesty International people, all these NGOs, the non-governmental organizations, are all massively invested in the idea of bombing Assad. That's what it comes down to. This is absolutely unacceptable. So we need to get some members of Congress with some guts. And it's also interesting that establishment people of some importance, the former Prime Minister François Fillon, Fillon, this was under Sarkozy, if memory serves. So he says this is a good idea. And Bernard Squarcini, he also says it's good to have these contacts. Yes, as Cardinal Richelieu once said, you should negotiate with everybody all the time as much as you can, and you will learn more. Now, we've also got the Fars news agency in Iran. I once visited their headquarters, very nice bunch of people. And the Fars news agency reports that British transport aircraft, right, British planes have been making airdrops of weapons and other strategic material to the ISIS terrorists. And there's also an idea that U.S. planes are also involved. So you've got a war in the sense of two tentacles of the U.S. government, right? The Pentagon bombs them, but the CIA and the other parts of the intelligence community are hyping ISIS. Why do people get interested, people in Brooklyn or schoolgirls in Scotland, why do they get interested in joining ISIS? Well, part of it is the constant hype from the news media. They're so sophisticated. They're so formidable. They are supermen with magical powers. And the other thing that any self-respecting, intelligent person would ask is, with the tremendous capabilities of the National Security Agency, we're told that they sponsor the most feared and potent group of hackers in the world. Why don't they shut down those ISIS sites? If the main weapon of ISIS is a propaganda film that shows how cool and groovy and so forth it is to be part of ISIS, well, why not destroy those websites? That could be done in a few days. Why are you allowing these people to be recruited, right? You could easily justify that as a war measure. Now, we're of course, looking forward here to Netanyahu coming next week, but perhaps even more on ISIS. One interesting opinion from David Sanger of the New York Times, not reliable on many issues, but one interesting thing is the films of the vandalism, literally vandalism, the ISIS patsies and crazies taking a sledgehammer to these statues of I guess it's the Gilgamesh period, or maybe Gilgamesh is a little bit earlier, but the Babylonian and related civilizations of Mesopotamia, those are being attacked by ISIS. Why are they doing that? Why did they do so much? Is obviously, according to Sanger, in the U.S. intelligence community, there's the analysis that this is a provocation designed to goad the U.S. into overreaching, into self-destructive behavior, right? 150,000 men in the field. Well, it's not going to be that big because those resources don't even exist anymore. But in this sense, somebody like McCain